The idea of making a clean break from the rat race and going bush certainly appeals to a growing number of Australians. Tens of thousands of tree changers give it a go every year, but very few agree to have that life-changing move captured, warts and all, in a television documentary.
In the heart of the wheat and sheep belt of New South Wales, you'll find the classic country town of Trundle. It wasn't so long ago that towns like this were the lifeblood of the nation. But like the rest of the great Aussie bush, Trundle has fallen on hard times, and the townspeople have grave concerns.
Well, we actually lost the ANZ, the Westpac and the state.
And it's not just the banks. The ambulance, gone. The butcher, closed up. The hospital can't get staff to stay. In just 10 years, the numbers of kids at the school has halved. And even the once mighty Trundle boomers have hung up their boots.
Trundle's not the first small country town to offer a fresh start to outsiders, but it did break new ground by agreeing to allow TV cameras along for the ride.
There were 400 applications, but I guess it was pretty easy to cull through those and find the ones that were genuinely going to add something to the town, because with that you often get just the $1 a week, people who just want a free ride in life. And Trundle didn't want people that wanted a free ride. They wanted people that were there to make a difference and to give something back to the community rather than just take.
Debbie Kuehl grew up in the bush herself and was well aware that strangers aren't always met with open arms.
How you going, Donna? Welcome to Trundle. Is one of them your husband? Yes.
And what we found were the people in Trundle were very broad-minded, very well-educated, articulate people who were not the narrow-minded sort of set that sometimes city people think country people are. So from that point we knew that we had a great basis to work from, and that they were people who were open to having new families in their town. So we were never worried that they wouldn't be accepting of an injection of new people. I mean, there were a few naysayers, I'd have to say, but they just made great television, the naysayers.
And I wouldn't pay $1 a week rent, work on the house, and then didn't get to keep it.
I think it's the most marvellous thing that ever happened any place.
There's no work here. No one employs many people anymore.
I think it's absolutely marvellous. And it's so much better than sitting around whinging about what's not happening. And that's what's been going on.
There's no ballet, there's no pharmacist. You can't give birth in Trundle. I would doubt if there was one family in 12 months' time.
It's 20 years since documentary cameras were turned on Australian suburbs. Well, a pretty well-heeled end of town anyway, when the Donaher family threw open the doors of their waterfront mansion.
For God's sake, he can have a bloody birthday.
Of course he can, but he's just saying it. They're all going to bring friends and there's going to be bloody 1 million people here. We haven't got the room.
A lot of water slipped past the Donahers' moorings since 1992, but could the cameras have the same distorting effect in small towns as it did in Sylvania?
When you do have a film crew who are following you around and, you know, really becoming very much part of your life, a lot of them found that challenging and intrusive. And there were times, I guess a lot of my time was spent managing the families and respecting that sometimes we just needed to step back and give them their own space. You can't force someone to give you what's happening in their life. You can be there with the camera, but if they don't want to give, they're not going to give. So that was a really challenging part of the process.
It really pisses me off because Kylie and I have spent the last 2 weeks working every day of the week on doing something to this place, and the gratitude is just overwhelming, the lack of it, I should say. It's turning into a Nightmare on Elm Street type deal, you know?
You'll have to watch the 6-part series to see whether all the tree changes go the distance.